Welcome back to part 2 of the Skinwalker Ranch 2-part series. Here we got going on here at the podcast, into the darkness and whatnot. Here, Joey, me.
What is going on here?
Alright, so we're back again talking about, Skinwalker Ranch, paranormal stuff, Yetis and big wolves and big big Heinz ketchup bottles. Big I can't say the word. Big hyenas. Alright, big hyenas got your UFOs.
You make fun of me.
You got your hyenas. You got your UFOs. You got your dog-like figurines. You got your Bigfoots. You got your big orbs of light, big shafts of light, the size of football fields, going outside your house. Why are you laughing at me? I'm just catching everybody up on the previous episode. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Jeez. You got people. They shot this wolf a bunch of times. And then they did not kill it. It just disappeared. And then the other guy saw a hyena, and it disappeared as well. It almost killed that horse, I think. Or maybe it did kill the horse.
No, the wolf is still alive. It had
No, I said the horse.
I said the horse is still alive.
You said the wolf.
The horse is still alive. It just got, marks on its legs being scratched.
Yes.
A bunch of times.
What, the wolf?
No, the horse.
Oh. Was the horse laying down?
I think it was standing up.
Oh, that's good. Horses can't lay down for very long. They die.
Really?
I think so.
I thought it was cows for some reason.
Maybe it's cows. I don't know. I thought it was horses.
What's sleep standing up? Is it a horse or a cow?
They both sleep standing up. Well, no. Cows sleep sitting down, I think. Do they even sleep at all? I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never seen a horse sleep.
They're like a shark. Sharks can't stop moving when they die.
Sharks swim.
Yeah, but the sharks can't stop moving
unless there's a current.
Right,
they just have to have the filtration going.
Yeah,
through.
but if they're in steady waters,
they
can't.
Watch out for the. What are you doing in my waters?
God damn it.
Okay, so you got all that stuff going on.
Okay. Yes.
This is how we're gonna get to it.
All right.
So to continue on with part 2 of the Skinwalker Ranch, here we go. Take it, Joey.
Okay, so in the spring of 1995, the Shermans started seeing strange things in the sky. While out checking on their cattle, Terry and his nephew spotted what they thought was a recreational vehicle parked on the property. They approached it, figuring the driver might be having mechanical trouble. As they got closer, it moved silently away from them. They moved closer, it moved farther away. They climbed a fence to get a better look at it, and that's when they knew this was no Winnebago. The craft rose above the treetops and slowly flew away, making no sound as it departed. It certainly wasn't a helicopter. The witnesses had a clear view and say the object was shaped like a refrigerator, with a single light on its front and a red light on the back. Before long, everyone in the family was seeing peculiar aerial objects. Miss Sherman saw something that resembled a stealth fighter, but ringing the blinking disco lights silently hovered about 20 feet above her vehicle before zipping off. Each family member had repeated sightings of a cloud that usually hovered just outside the property. The cloud was characterized as having blinking Christmas tree lights or silent mini explosions inside. Among the other aerial craft seen by the Shermans, their neighbors and other witnesses were classic flying saucer objects, flying sombreros, shafts of light similar to fluorescent light bulbs, and a cigar-shaped craft several football fields long.
I feel like you're screaming at me
How
right
is
now.
flying sombreros a classic flying saucer object?
I feel like it's very aggressive.
I'm sorry, but
It's being very aggressive towards me right now.
Did I hurt your feelings?
When there's flying sombreros involved,
The Mexicans.
feelings don't matter.
The Mexicans.
It's the Mexican army coming in.
By far, the most common objects they witnessed were floating spheres of different sizes and colors. In 1995 and 1996, the Shermans and others reported 12 separate incidents of seeing large orange circles flying over the trees of the center homestead. Terry Sherman claims that holes occasionally opened up in the orange spheres and other smaller spheres would fly out. A neighboring rancher told his report of his own encounters with what he called a flying orange basketball. By early 1996, the sightings of the blue spheres at the ranch became the norm. These orbs were said to be about the size of a softball, made of glass, and filled with bubbling blue liquids that seemed to rotate inside. Mr. and Mrs. Sherman said that in April 1996 they watched one of the blue orbs repeatedly circle the head of one of their horses. The horse was illuminated by an intense blue light, and there was a sound like static electricity in the air, but this wasn't ball lightning. The orb seemed to be intelligently controlled. When Terry approached the horse with a flashlight, the orb darted off, maneuvering through the tree branches with speed and dexterity. The Shermans say the blue spheres seemed to generate severe psychological effects on the family. They experienced waves of fear roll over them, far in excess of what might be normal. Whenever the blue orbs appeared, it was the appearance of one blue orb in particular that finally convinced them to sell the ranch.
Interesting. So they finally sold the ranch.
After how many years of living there?
After all of that crap happening to them.
Right. It takes them years before they realize, oh yeah, let's just sell the ranch now.
They decided that they weren't having any more of that stuff. They were going and they were gone.
I think if I saw the wolf the first time, I think I'd be like, yeah, you guys can have
I'm
this.
out, son.
See ya.
I'm not being around anywhere that has a wolf that big.
Yeah. One evening in May 1996, Sherman was outside with three of his dogs when he noticed a blue orb darting around in the field near the ranch house. Terry urged the dogs to go after the ball. The dogs chased and snapped at the orb, but it dodged and maneuvered enough to stay just beyond the reach of the snapping jaws. The ball led the dogs out across the pasture and into the dark brush that borders the field. Terry says he heard the dogs make 3 terrible yelps. Then they were silent. He called for them, but they didn't respond. The next morning, he went to look for the dogs, but what he found was 3 round spots of dried and brittle vegetation. In the middle of each circle was a black, greasy lump. Terry surmised that his dogs had been incinerated by something. One thing for sure, the dogs were never seen again. The disappearance of their dogs prompted the Shermans to think about getting out. Seriously, it took 3 of his dogs dying for them to realize, oh yeah, maybe we should move.
They just incinerated those dogs. They weren't having any of that dog stuff. They're like, I'm tired of this dog. Done. Gone. And that's some advanced technology right there. That's definitely some alien stuff going on right there.
Has to be.
There's a lot going on here.
Terry Sherman was not some rube farmer trying to get by. He had college degrees and advanced training in animal husbandry. Was considered an expert in artificial insemination and had plans for raising hybrid high-end stock at the picturesque ranch. His herd, which ranged from 60 to 80 head, consisted of expensive, top-of-the-line heifers and 4 2,000-pound show-class bulls. From the day he moved his herd onto the ranch, though, his hope as well as his animals seemed to be under assault. The balls of light that were seen so often on the property seemed to take special interest in the cattle and were often seen buzzing around the heads of the animals. Sometimes the cattle would react violently, the herd splitting suddenly as if some invisible force was plowing through their middle. It got worse.
See, there's these things. They're looking. They're doing these tests.
Mm-hmm.
They're scanning these things. They're exploring. They're figuring out. They're getting information about these animals and stuff.
Yeah. Although the Sherman kept close watch on their stock, something began taking a terrible toll. One cow was found dead in a field. A strange crisp hole had been cut in one of its eyes. There were no tracks or blood, and Terry wondered what could do such a thing. He noticed a strong musk odor around the carcass again, a smell he would come to know all too well. Other cattle were carved up as if with pinking shears. In typical cases, the ears, eyes, udders, and sex organs were removed with surgical precision. Sherman's animals were subjected to all of the above.
See, they're dissecting them. They're doing these things. They got to be doing it for a reason.
Oh yeah, probably.
They're learning from these things.
They're seeing what these things are, what they're capable of.
Yeah, there's just something that is out there trying to learn some stuff. In this area, and they pick this one area to just kind of find what it can find and
do what it can do.
Yeah.
So, as an experienced hunter and rancher, Sherman was more than familiar with the capabilities of natural predators. This wasn't being done by coyotes or mountain lions. The slaughter was simply too clean, and no blood was ever left at the scene of the attacks. His other animals were also suffered. His favorite horse had its legs slashed, as if by sharp instruments or claws. The musk odor was still in the air when he discovered the damaged horse. His dogs seemed to develop paranoia. They stayed inside the house for days at a time, too fearful to emerge for food. 6 of the family's cats vanished in one night. Soon cows started disappearing altogether. One of the animals vanished from a snow-covered field. Sherman saw the hoof prints lead into the field, but the tracks simply stopped, as if the animal had been plucked from the sky. A 1,200-pound cow leaves tracks in snow, Sherman told himself. So what happened to this one? I think that the spaceships are coming in, picking up these cows, because that cow just got plucked out, just vanished.
Gone.
Just like the wolf.
Gone.
The wolf.
Gone. I think this could be a mixture of things, you know? Like everything that's going on, thinking it could be either some government stuff going on underneath, you know, doing tests, using this alien technology or whatever that they're developing, you know, using to do these things, you know, see what this technology can do. Could be some kind of otherworldly being like aliens or fourth dimensional beings or something that's traveling, you know, very high advanced. Could be from the future. You know, you never know. It's just doing research, you know, on old stuff like we do with, you know, ancient artifacts with our limited technology that we have. It could just be their version of this.
Maybe. But if it was the government, why would they just be attacking these cattle and ruining this farmer?
Maybe they're just seeing what they can do, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they just found this technology or something, or they're developing it, and then this is how they're testing it. You know, you could test it in lab tests all day, but test out in the real world.
That's where it shows its potential.
It's going to get real world results, you know?
Yeah. Well, guys, if you want to look any more into this, you can look online at or Skinwalker Ranch.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, go ahead and look it up. There's like tons of stuff. tons of cases of different things going on. You know, take all this information and do what you want with it. Come to your own conclusions. This is just stuff that we're talking about, things that we're getting out of it, and the way we wrap our head around what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I know we didn't get to talk about Bigelow, but he is actually a big part of this towards later on after the Shermans. So if you guys want to learn more about Bigelow and who he is and what he all owns and what he does, you can just you can search his name. I didn't find a lot about just from a search from his name, but if you go to like the Wikipedia page or whatnot, they do talk about him as well.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for episode number 6, which is
Skinwalker Ranch Part 2?
Which is Skinwalker Ranch Part 2. I just couldn't think of what that was. So if you like it, if you don't, you know, hit that like button.
Definitely hit that like button.
If you're still here at this point in the video,
please hit that like button.
Listen to Joey and go ahead and hit that like button.
Act like it's either life or death. And hit that like button.
If you had to hit that like button or die, you'd hit that like button, right? So go ahead and hit that like button.
Thank you for following us into the darkness.
And never forget to hide your kids and hide your wives and hide your husbands, because the government will find them.